Welcome back, Middle Age Grind. And today I want to share an article with you that came across. And that's kind of what I do on here lately. I find things interesting and I like to share them and give the credit to the article writer, which I will do here. And the Middle Age Grind, this channel, it's creating better relationships, being a better investor, being a better thinker, growing spiritually. All those things I think matter in life, and I try to improve my life constantly all the time, and I share these things with you all. Hopefully I'm helping someone else, and that's what I'm doing here today. The title of this article is 8 Signs You're Actually a Very Difficult Person by Lachlan Brown. And I'll share this with you. I know when my Google feed it suggests things, and the name of this website is Small Business Bonfire. Check it out. They got some pretty good articles on there that it really hits home with me. And I'm gonna go over these 8 points here and share some things insights that I got from them. And this one, 8 Signs You're Actually a Difficult Person. It's kind of I don't want to say negative, but it does focus on some things that I guess we all can improve on. Not that any one of us has all these different things, but there are people out in the world like this, and just learning how to deal with that and maybe making it a little better if that's you, and learning to understand people if it's not. So the number one is you're often the center of drama. We all know people like this, guys, that it's all about them, and it's one of the reasons why I do have a social media presence on Facebook, but it's not something I tend to do on a daily basis or, kind of thing. I get notifications. I'm on my board of my neighborhood if someone posts on that, and then if someone kind of direct messages me or tags me in something. It could be important. It could be something about a business opportunity, but I don't scroll on Facebook all day and see what everybody else is doing in their lives. It's just not something. Look, that's great and wonderful, but a lot of times we know those people, and look, you're not going to really change that unless you're watching this and you're one of them. You want to change that, but just understanding it and learning how to deal with that and not being upset by it, I guess. Number 2, people seem defensive around you. And you may not even notice this, but if you're a type of person who likes not only drama but confrontation, and if you're seeing that, maybe that's something you need to change. People always seem on eggshells around you. Number 3, you find it hard to compromise. And, this is something I think in life is a compromise. We need to make it on a daily basis. There's always give and take. We tend, I think a lot of people think it's a zero-sum game in life. It's not. It's giving a little bit and taking a little bit, and learning how to deal with that, and learn how to make compromise. And it's not I win, you lose, or vice versa. It's we can come to an agreement, come to an understanding. Look, guys, in a week from today, I'm not going to get into politics. Half of the country's going to be happy and half is going to be pretty upset. Don't know which, but I tell you this, we need to learn how to deal with it and learn how to go on and to move on, and believe, we're one country, and we have to be able to work together in some kind of way, no matter who wins or loses, and move forward, and not attack our enemies, and not just denigrate people, and just find a way to make things better. Okay. Number 4, you struggle to accept criticism. I don't know how it was 50, 100 years ago. Maybe it was just as bad, but this is something I think I see it all the time, whether it be young people, old people. You know, a channel I really got into, you might check him out. He's become pretty famous and very successful. Caleb Hammer has a show called The Financial Audit, and he gets people on there and he goes over all their finances and basically gives them a lot of tough love, I would say, but how to improve. And it just got to the point where it's so darn exhausting because everybody, it seems like he has on there, he's going over their expenses and what they're doing wrong. And man, they got an excuse for every single thing. It's like, shut up, take your medicine. You know what you're going. He always tells people, you know what the show's about. I mean, yeah, not every month's a weird month, and not every expense is an excuse. Just kind of take it and take it all in and learn how to accept that criticism and move on from it. I think we all can do this in life. I mean, coaching kids, and you need to be coachable. I mean, no one's perfect. No one's Michael Jordan on the sports court or whatever. You got to learn to take some criticism, use that in a productive way, and learn to better yourself. We all could do that. Number 5, you rarely show empathy. I'm reading a really good book right now. Bill O'Reilly and Martin Dugard has their Confronting the President's book. And I would very highly recommend it. I'm about halfway through it. Not political in the sense like most people think. It really gets into the intricacies of the men who were president and some of the struggles they went through, some of the things they overcame or did not overcome. And a lot of these men had very difficult lives. You talk about the infant mortality rate or just the people dying of disease when the country was founded was very, very high. Give you one example, a president you probably never heard of, Franklin Pierce was the 14th president. Guy had a bad alcohol problem, exacerbated when he was president, was not considered to be a very good president. But when you're reading his story, he was married. I believe he was from Massachusetts. He was up from north. His wife didn't want him to run for president. He had 3 children, 3 boys. 2 of them died very young of disease, and he had an 11-year-old son named Benny. And Benny was the light of his eye. And when he won election for president, his wife nor Benny, his son, wanted him to do it. And the son even wrote a letter to the mother explaining how he didn't want to go. The Franklin Pierce, his wife and his son, went on a train ride from Massachusetts to Washington, D.C., and there was a tragedy. The train derailed, and his son died on the way to Washington. This affected him, as you can imagine, very negatively, and so did his wife. Man did not have a good presidency. 2 presidents later was Abraham Lincoln. Everybody's going to know him, the 16th president. And one of the things now, Franklin Pierce and Abraham Lincoln were different on the political spectrum. However, when Abraham Lincoln won, he lost a son shortly before he was in the White House. I believe it was disease, tuberculosis or something. And Franklin Pierce wrote him a very nice note. And they didn't agree politically at all. These guys are on the opposite end of the spectrum, just like these politicians now. But it was basically empathizing because he could relate what Abraham Lincoln was going through and wrote him a nice note. And Abraham Lincoln had a bust of him in one of the rooms and kept the note there. And I just thought that was something very touching. And you don't hear about that kind of stuff in the history books. And if you read that book, most of the stories about these people, it's about that. It's not politically if they were really good or bad or what side of the aisle they were on. It's about the true life struggles they dealt with. And that really, really was touching there. Moving on to number 6, you often feel misunderstood. if you constantly feel that you're misunderstood, you probably need to do some self-reflection and look in the mirror a little bit. Okay? Number 7, hard time keeping friends. If you're a person that, kind of makes friends with people and then things go awry all the time, as a child or an adult, it's probably a you thing. You really need to look at that. And number 8, the last thing on this list, you're often unhappy with other people. And I created a quote. I don't know what it was, but it basically goes like this: accept people for who they are, not who you want them to be. Okay? So a lot of times we want people to do certain things or be a certain way because we know it's the right way. We know it's right. And I think if you really try to impress that belief on someone, it's more of a turn off. You need to lead by example and do the right things and look, accept people for who they are, right? We're going to have differences ethnically, politically, who we like sports teams and this and that. Accept people for who they are. If you're a diehard LSU fan and you're friends with a diehard Alabama fan, you can beat them 10 years in a row or vice versa. You're not going to change that identity, right? So just accept people for who they are. Be humble about it and go on the right way. And that's what I'll continue to do, guys, is share. When I come across something, an article, or I like sharing with people. I know I have a very small audience. I know my kids watch this, and hopefully one day they understand this and take something out of it. But I'll keep continuing to share this with you. I did, on a side note, I did finish Anthony O'Neill's book on debt-free degree. It is pretty good. There's some insights I'll share with you in another video. Basically, there's some things you can do to not pay for a lot for college, and it involves a lot of work, and which, go figure, But with that said, I'll see you real soon on the Middle Age Grind.